Interface. So let me just do a brief introduction to the interface of Adobe Soundbooth CS4. We're going to be covering a lot of these things in more detail as we go, but I thought I would at least introduce you to some of the terminology and some of the other kind of workflow and efficiency things right up front, starting with the default interface. We can know that that's the default because we can go to Workface and say default, and also, as we'll talk about when we talk about workspaces, we can always reset that to default. So it may not be exactly default yet, but it looks like it is. Okay. So the default interface here, the colors are a little different than you may experience when you first get in, and that's because I've changed that under this area here. Let's go to default. So exactly how it'll look. Now, preferences. This is where we have our control panel. For some of you, that's going to be a recognizable term, or preferences for the whole program. That's here. We have our tools at the very top here. We have our main editor default here with another transport control down at the bottom. This is where we push play and stop and record. And then we have all of these different tabs. Now each of these also show up in Windows, and you can see we have keyboard shortcuts next to them here. And so basically we're broken out into these little areas, and you can customize this how you like. Each of these tabs will do different things and have different names for each one of them. The editor here is where the audio will live. So if I pull in a file, voila, and it's going to be imported and shown. That's where this is. So you're going to actually do a lot of your graphical editing here and your data and text editing over on the side. We have a zoom area here where we can zoom in and out, and if you see an arrow on the side of a little text box here, that means it's going to drop down. You're going to be able to choose something from a drop down menu. If on one of these tabs you see these little things with the arrow and the lines, that means there's more stuff we can do. We can undock the panel, the frame, close the panel, close the frame, maximize the frame. As you can see, that takes the whole thing. We can restore frame size so we can get in and out of the stuff pretty easily. Now on the side here, broken up into several different things. The dB stands for decibel, and that's a loudness measure. And then these with the K's and without the K's are the frequencies. So that's the pitch, in other words, or the high and low parts of the sound. And left to right is always going to be timing. So in the next set of tutorials, we're going to be going through a lot of these different issues, and specifically in the next one we're going to talk about decibels and some of these other terms that may be a little bit foreign to some of you, and others of you, if you know all about what decibels are, please feel free just to skip past it, because we're going to talk about it in more basic terms just for those of you who have never really understood what a decibel is, or just some of the principles of digital audio itself. Okay, so let's go on to that point and talk about some of that terminology.